The flames behind Justicar Corbin glowed white-hot, like the fear in my stomach. I recall what General Takahashi told me was the Aleutians' parting message for humanity. Further attempts to meddle in our affairs and to exit your pocket dimension will result in permanent consequences. I had been the one who insisted that we follow this path, and that filled me with a sense of panic. However, the Aleutian leader knew who we really were. I might have just gotten all of Seoul killed. Humans? Here? Preposterous! That is absolutely unfounded and untrue! Karai objected. Colburn's lips spread in a thin smile. Should we give them a quick scan and see beyond a shadow of a doubt? If you can exonerate yourselves, by all means, use the medical scanner I have sitting right here. Our Aleutian allies' eyes looked at the wand, caught between a rock and a hard place. I don't understand how... I knew. One of your fellow scientists saw sense and filled the judiciary in on everything you've been up to. You really thought we wouldn't get wind of this? Humans, infiltrating our own government in Aleutian bodies? At least one of your peers had to see that as madness. By bringing them here, you endangered us all. Mikri seemed horrified, jumping up to protectively shield us. Guards pulled him away from us with their razors, and the tin can reached out for us with desperation. The sullen android then shot an accusatory look at Karai, and I suspected that he was broadcasting threats to turn her into jambalaya. The Aleutian's face had crumbled to horror and despair before her eyes turned to me, searching. I am so sorry, Preston, Karai told me, a pleading glint in her eyes. This wasn't the plan. I had no idea that... My jaw quavered, though I fought to keep it together. I believe you. It's not your fault. Yes, it is. I shouldn't have trusted my people. I put humanity in horrible danger, and I will try to protect you from my insolence. Save yourselves. Karai? I'm asking you to say whatever it takes so that humanity will survive. That is my wish. Karai hung her head, then looked up at the Justicar with a rueful expression. Do not find fault with the humans. This is all my doing, because I could not abide how this government acts with ignorance. I'm the one who defied you and set this all in motion. They bear no blame, and any punishment placed upon them would be inflicted on a party who just wish to continue their lives. Please, we're sorry, I said in human English, deciding that Karai was right. I needed to grovel and try anything to avoid them wiping us out. We really just wanted to prove our innocence. We didn't mean to defy you. Even the portals. We thought you wanted us to do it ourselves, so we did. This wasn't our idea. Colburn squinted at me, waving a dismissive hand. Fear not, human. I know this wasn't your idea. I won't punish your species when this was all Karai's doing. Interfering in both of your captures. She's the reason you escaped, and she killed one of my agents to do it. Giving you our technology, releasing true enemies of the Empire in the Fakra. Even her radicalized peers saw that these were bridges that went too far. This was simply the final, egregious straw. Think what you like. My actions were bridges that didn't go far enough. Steely defiance laced Karai's voice. The fact that Estai and Sagawa have adapted so well to our technology shows what a rousing success the human project has been. We can't cast them aside when they really are the equals we want. You won't even give them a chance to appeal when you don't know for certain what causes this future. You're blinded because you care about them far too much. You ignore any outright evidence you find when we all see the most likely explanation. If that's the truth, then you should have nothing to fear in vetting those details. The humans were brought here only to guide the probe towards evidence of their innocence. I don't know why you allowed us to get here if you knew who Estai and Sagawa were all along. To gather irrefutable evidence on you, Watcher Karai. Besides, it was an interesting experiment to observe how the humans fared here. You were bringing them straight to us, so there was no need to track you down. Let's just say we have more than enough to put you away for a long, long time. Corbin pulled up footage from a surveillance nanodrone, showing Karai at the memory walk facility, storming in with unbridled rage on her face as she took on that anti-human bigot. I peeked in the chat rooms to see what others thought. The Watcher's impassioned defense of our species showed vitriol towards the Aleutians by suggesting they hadn't gone anywhere through insistence on their superiority. It also demonstrated that she cared far too much about us, to the point of infatuation with our drive and precognitive abilities. I slumped my shoulders, a little surprised that the Aleutians were making no effort to restrain us. Sophia, what do we do? We let them crucify Karai, the scientist responded. It can't be stopped. I don't even know what they'll do with us. They've captured us, and they know it. We could be experiments forever and never return home. Never return to our bodies. It's not helpful to spiral into worst-case scenarios. Just, for fuck's sake, say nothing. Colburn paused the video, staring down Karai. You don't think your feelings for them are blinding you? I think my feelings for them opened my eyes to how we treat people like playthings to be discarded. Is this the first time this assemblage has spoken the Fakra's name in 1,000,000 years? She spat. No. It was never about the Fakra, Karai. You use them for your own purposes, too. Consequences be damned. The recklessness. You could have brought about our demise. For what? You are compromised. Colburn issued a mental command, and the footage switched over to Karai and I kissing in the waiting area. The gasps at that point were almost as loud as when it first was proclaimed that I was human. Was the thought that an Aleutian would do such a thing so offensive? The Justicar's features turned to a contemptuous sneer, as if he couldn't believe Karai would lower herself to such a thing. As far as this assemblage was considered, they had their why for her actions. That's absolutely not the reason she helped humanity. It's so much deeper than just us. But they're judging her for loving me? Am I that bad? The Watcher sank into the half-seat, her willpower seeming to fade. My heart broke in two, sympathy squeezing it like a fist, and I couldn't hold back the tears any longer. Sagua placed a hand on my shoulder, though the subtext in her actions seemed to be that she wanted me to pull myself together for humanity's sake. I knew I should, but I just couldn't bear to see Karai being treated like this because of me. I would never have put her through this, if I'd been aware of what was coming. Why hadn't my precog warned me? They were going to take her away for at least a relative forever because of what she'd done to help us. That wasn't fair. None of it was. My life or hers, I blurted. I will serve you in whatever way you want. Just let her go. I can't let you put her away for helping us. Preston, no! Mikri screamed into my mind, whirring loudly as the Aleutians continued to restrain him. I cannot lose you. I cannot watch you be hurt and made a servitor. Why would you do this? I shot the Vaskar and Sophia an apologetic look. Just like you would have done for me with Laramak. Whatever you think, I'd do this for either of you too. You're my family. But I can't leave Karai to this. I can't sit by and watch. I do not want this, Preston, Karai protested. I have lived long enough. If I cannot have humanity, and by extension you, I do not wish to persist. Corbin's eyes gleamed with interest. Her human lover speaks. Come up here and join us, will you? Both of you. I'll question you now. I glanced over at Sophia to find a resigned understanding in her eyes, while Mikri bore a look of absolute rage. The Vaskar's loathing for Karai had multiplied, but he had to see that this wasn't her own fault. She must be feeling so abandoned and betrayed after her peers, who she trusted and likely worked with for millennia upon millennia, sold out her efforts to save humanity. I wasn't going to watch and be powerless as someone I loved sacrifice themselves for me again. Introduce yourselves. Your real names, the Justicar said. My partner drew a deep breath. Dr. Sophia Aguado. I'm a researcher for the Earth Space Union and was one of the first astronauts to cross the gap. I recall in my initial conversation with you, I expressed that you must have cared about us, that we're special to you. I still want to believe that. I would hate to see us be enemies when this was all needless. I want to help you stop whatever's coming. I glanced above her head in AR, spotting her ESU portrait cast behind her. Corbin already knew. Preston Carter. I'm part of the North American Combined Space Force. Beyond just having crossed the gap first, I fight for what I believe in, literally and figuratively. I'll never apologize for that. I partook in multiple diplomatic missions and risked life and limb for the Vaskar. For Mikri. I am Mikri, the android shouted, despite not being prompted. Humanity are a good species who are being mistreated over non-existent transgressions. They are smart and adaptable, whatever you say. All organics deserve to have their freedom and not be held back from their dreams. You had to see the positive influence they had on Keelam. Is that a species you really see as destroyers? Please. I know you never let us talk this through, but we only wanted to understand why we were created, to unlock the universe's mysteries. We heard not to seek you, so we went our own way to build technology. I totally get why that spooked you. We didn't know you thought we'd kill you off, man. I wanted to make you proud. I'm more the fool. Corbin stared at me with glittering eyes. You didn't know that we foresaw you taking our place until she told you. Korai spilled everything, knowledge that wasn't meant for you to possess. That was incredibly brave to try to sacrifice yourself for her, but we aren't barbarians. While I give you points for nobility, I don't desire your servitude, Preston Carter. Then let us help you, Sophia spoke softly. I know you haven't liked how we wound up here, but we've gone through so much just to try to exonerate ourselves. We are an objective solution to get the information you need. We can guide the probe. In fact, we're the only living beings who can. Why on Suam should we trust you when you've more than proven you're willing to conspire behind our backs? Why shouldn't you? If we did anything to undermine the probe, it'd have backlash for Sol. We want to protect humanity. Besides, I know how dire the situation is. I have had visions of death in the near future that, the more I think about it, we literally aren't capable of bringing that sort of destruction upon you. Even if we wanted to, even if we magically caught up to you overnight, we don't have the technology to bring about your downfall. Corbin stiffened. You've foreseen what's coming. Soon? Yes, but I'm telling you, it literally cannot be us. It's not possible. You don't need to remind us that we're well behind you. You're blaming the wrong species, and my goal here is to save you from the actual root cause. It would bring me no joy to see the Illusions, a race capable of so many wonders, destroyed. Especially with what that would mean for the rest of us peons. If they can take you... Are you sure it can't be us? I asked Sophia privately. The scientist's features didn't shift. Not at all. We wouldn't have to match their technology. We just have to figure out their harmontia, or to have the right weapon drop into our laps. I sure hope it's not us, but either way, I want the evidence. And I need the Illusions to believe it's not humanity. The Justicar scrutinized Dr. Aguado closely. Then who is to blame? The Fakra? Korai loosed them into the multiverse, and they've been plotting how to get back at us for 1,000,000 years. I don't think there's any point in slinging around unfounded accusations, Sophia replied, shifting with discomfort. A concrete answer gives you certainty. If it is us, then you're justified to lock us away as a threat. If it's not, then who better to analyze the future and help you prepare? All humanity can hope for is a chance to see the multiverse again. I would very much like to know our creators better. We're related, hominids. I tried to force my hands to remain steady, but I was jittery from the adrenaline coursing through my veins. Sweat beaded on my massive forehead. You invested millions of years waiting for us. Why would you want to start over if you don't have to? It seems like a big effort. Not all of us would gamble with our continued existence out of fear that our life's work may have to be discarded, Corbin sneered. Experiments fail. That's a fact of life. But we aren't experiments, Justicar Corbin. We're people like you. People who can walk around in the same bodies doing the same things with the same tech as you. So you can't say we're that different. Korai could be right, and we're innocent, and then she would have helped you find out the truth. Maybe she saved the Aleutians.
My Preston, it doesn't matter if I'm right. They're going to put me away for all that I've done, Karai whispered in my mind.
I narrowed my eyes with stubbornness. If I might add too, you shouldn't throw such a brilliant watcher who knows more about humanity than anyone away. Her punishment is whatever, but she's an asset to the Empire. When we're innocent and all, she has a good chance of smoothing things over with Earth. We know how much she cared for us, whether she was compromised or not. If you don't want to deal with us, make her do it. Easy.
Your loyalty is admirable, and I can understand you feeling that Karai has helped you, Colburn sighed. It's rather bold of you to assume we'd want to work with humans, though.
Well, you could have that loyalty too. Enough said. The Justicar mulled over my words, seeming to have a private discourse with his panel, and perhaps other judiciaries. I mouthed, "I love you," at a stricken Karai, and the Aleutian offered a feeble smile back. Whatever Colburn's decision would be, I kept my cool and said everything in my power to salvage both her freedom and our ability to accompany this mission. Exonerating humanity might give us a chance at a better relationship with our creators, if that was at all possible. The Empire might see our value, at least.
You're right on one thing. We need your help with the probe to get any surefire results, Colburn decided. You'll go with it, and we'll see what happens from there. No promises beyond that.
Sophia leaned her head back with relief, clasping her hands in front of her.
Thank you. I'm grateful for just one chance to make this right. We can fix this. You have my word. I'll do everything that I can.
The Justicar nodded toward Karai.
Walking around in Aleutian form is ridiculous, though, not to mention highly unethical. I want their human bodies sent here, so they can be easily monitored.
Very well, but please allow them to keep the nanobots, at least while they're partaking in the probe reconnaissance. They'll need it to interface with our technology, and to communicate with each other in the fifth dimension, Karai murmured.
Reasonable enough. I trust that they'll keep in mind that any aggressivity will have consequences for Sol, and that they won't try anything.
Of course. Cross my heart. I skipped the next part of that phrase, since I very much did not hope to die or to stick a needle through my eye. Getting back to my human form would be a relief, especially with how worryingly used to this body I was becoming. We're in this together. It'd, be nice to have a few days to get used to being human Preston again.
I'll expedite the process. You need to be ready to go in a few days' time. I won't delay the probe. Certainly not with all of the chaos Karai has set in motion.
Sir, yes, sir. I forced some gusto into my chest, kicking into soldier mode. I'll do anything. Anything at all.
That attitude is exactly what unsettles us. Take Karai to the holding cells beneath the Huff and book her for trial. This meeting is adjourned.
The crowd flocked around us, gawking as if we were zoo animals. The guards holding Mikri released the robot, who the Aleutians didn't seem too worried about. I watched with distraught eyes when Karai was roughly dragged away, despite the fact that she offered no resistance. My throat constricted at the thought that I might never see her again, even while I should be celebrating the victory of getting humanity off the executioner's block for a time. As Aleutian guards headed us toward a back room, where we'd be prepped for brain transplantation, my heart was in too much turmoil to even fear the hellish procedure again. I offered up a silent prayer that Takahashi and Velk wouldn't suffer when the Empire arrived to retrieve our bodies, and that we find some conclusive evidence with the 5D probe that would give Karai a chance at leniency.